Hello, welcome to another episode of Awakening with Soulspirational. I'm Tish. It's been a little while since I have put up a video, but something came up recently that really inspired me, and so I thought I would share it with you. So for those of you who are familiar, you know that I teach spiritual classes. And in the realm of different things that I teach, one of the things that I do is lead people through a channeling class. So we may be channeling the archangels, angels, ascended masters, etc. And I know some of you may be listening to this saying, well, that's crazy. I get that. I used to think that way too. And we can look at it as, maybe we are talking to the angels, ascended masters. Maybe we're actually just talking to our higher self. The main point for me as we are going through the class is that each person is going within. They are consciously connecting with this higher place of being, either within or around them. And what we do when we go through, usually we'll channel 4 spirits throughout the course of a class. So when we are first connecting, we will ask for, we're looking for the kind of, what kind of energy, or if we're seeing anything in particular, but we're also asking for any private messages from that particular being, what it is that they may be most beneficial with. So knowing that, so maybe they're one to help with relationships. So is there something, any information that you can give me to help guide me in my relationships today, for example? So once we ask for private messages, then we ask for community messages, generalized messages, something that we can just share with people. And if you're familiar with my Facebook page, Soulspirational Wellness, many of the memes that I generate, so I'll share memes from different pages on my Facebook page. As far as other information about what's going on with Soulspirational, but the memes that are created by me, which will be tagged soulspirational.com, oftentimes those are the ones that I'm getting through the channeling class. Sometimes it's just a healing that I've gone through, or maybe working with with a client or with a student, and something comes to mind, so I just create a meme and share it. So I try and get out the information, just like with these videos, as best as I can. All right, so again, we do a channeling class. We're looking for personalized messages, but then we're also looking for community messages. So recently we were in class, and one of the messages that came through was, as long as life is still flowing through us, then there's still time to heal, to love, to live. And as I reflected upon that particular message, a few different things came to mind, but one of which is how sometimes we will see somebody, it may be a statement of, oh, that person is so set in their ways, they're never going to change. When we do that, we are actually projecting that stagnant energy onto somebody else, or that incalcitrant or inflexible energy onto somebody else. And it may actually be where they are at that moment in life. It may be how they've been for their entire lifetime. But by projecting that, I think it actually makes it a little bit heavier for that person. Even if we aren't saying it directly to them, it's still the energy that we are, again, projecting onto them. So I am just going to ask that as you move forward, that if you come across a person that you believe in that moment that they're never going to change, maybe to hold back on that energy, and maybe send them loving energy of evolution, of emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, whatever it may be, and know that they're still alive, which means, who are we to say what they will or won't do? as long as they are still alive, there's an opportunity for growth, for evolution, for healing, to open up to love, to open up to life. And life doesn't necessarily mean that we start globetrotting, that we travel all over the world. We may not be in a position either physically or financially in order to do that. And right now it's July 2020. So we're in the midst of the COVID pandemic, which means most people aren't globetrotting anyway. But when we are healing something, when we are evolving, when we are growing, it does make life richer, deeper, like more brilliant colors. And if we can experience some of that, so if you're a person that says, I'm never going to change, I don't want to change. And it's not even, change just seems like such a daunting word, I think. It's hard to both love oneself and then say, I need to change. So I really do prefer the word heal, evolution. Because I truly believe that the core of who we are when we are born is the common thread throughout our lifetime. But human experiences get caught up around that energy where we may lose sight of what we were born with. This place of love, this place of beauty, and I'm talking about internally. So, but then life happens and, somebody breaks our heart, maybe they cheated on us or left us or whatever the situation may have been, or I've learned in my lifetime, not to trust myself or not to trust other people, or what does love even mean? So that light, that thread that runs through us throughout our lifetime, because it's already running through us now, may get clouded or it may feel like it's blocking the light. Okay. So when we start healing, start evolving, then again, life can become richer. It may be that somebody really hurt me, and so, I am just protecting my heart behind lock and key. Nobody's ever going to get that close to me again. And we may even shut ourselves out to being able to love other people more fully, or maybe even ourselves. We may be carrying mistakes with us from this lifetime that is weighing us down. So when we can learn to heal that, to let go, to forgive oneself, to forgive others, again, it just makes life lighter and richer, more meaningful, or maybe just more gratitude. So it isn't just the mundane that we're going through day in and day out. We're seeing the beauty of life here in the moment of now, being present, again, being grateful. So I believe in past lives. I believe in reincarnation. To me, we're here for, I think for most of us, or a lot of us, to learn lessons. So if you believe also that we are here to learn lessons in this particular lifetime, if we just keep closing our eyes to it, closing off our ears, I'm thinking about the monkeys, can't see, hear, speak. So if the universe is trying to help us on our journey to learn our lessons, but we keep, blocking our ears, our eyes, or what have you, then we may never learn the lesson in this particular lifetime. So to me, we take that with us and we are going to repeat it. I don't believe that earthly experiences, are necessarily left here when we pass. I believe that a lot of that, or a portion of it, depends on the person, the situation, that we are carrying that with us when we transcend, when we go on to the other side, or however you perceive that. And sometimes it comes to me like this, like a heavy soul. So I'm one of those that I believe that there's the spirit, that which connects us to God, the divine, however you see it. But there's that beautiful, perfect spirit that runs through each and every one of us. And then I see the soul, though connected, it's also serves its purpose. And I believe that the soul is recording all of our experiences, good, bad, indifferent, the mundane, the exciting, all that's being recorded by the soul. And, all the good stuff is great, right? Because it helps to raise the vibration. We are living in the moment that we are laughing and loving and experiencing joy. We are feeling the beauty of life in that moment, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. So on the other end of that spectrum is when we are, maybe we're self-loathing, or, we're not trusting of self or others. We don't love self or others. That energy is caught up too in the experiences that led to those kinds of feelings. So, boy, I really hope I'm making sense here. So we begin to accumulate over a lifetime. And when we aren't consciously aware of what's going on with the soul, then we're passing with the weight of these experiences. And then for somebody like me, believing in reincarnation, how many lifetimes? How much am I carrying just from the past lifetimes too? But that can get overwhelming if you don't want to go there. But for me, like, those are the kinds of things that I process, that I think about. So, so my goal, my very first goal in life, in this lifetime, is whatever the darkest moment, the heaviest moment of this lifetime, wherever that point, looking at my lifetime, the chart is, wherever the heaviest point is, that I am able to cleanse whatever was built up here, and anything that because I still make mistakes. God knows I'm not perfect. So by the time that I get to wherever my end of life point is, that I have cleansed, that I have evolved, that I have released some of this, the more I release here in this lifetime as Tish, then the less I have to carry with my soul when I leave this earth. So I work on healing and cleansing. It isn't always easy, but there's such beauty in healing too. And then once again, it's the reward. Knowing that the tears that I shed while I was healing, there's beauty in that. The tears are cleansing, bringing different ways of seeing things, giving me maybe a shift of perspective, being able to love myself more, by extension then being able to love others more, being able to trust myself more, again by extension being able to trust other people more. There's such beauty. So again, as long as there's life still flowing through us, we still have time to do these things. We have time to forgive ourselves. We have time to forgive other people. So if I'm still holding on to anger or animosity because somebody upset me when I was, 10 or 15 or 25 or 32, or yes, I'm 50 now. So, even 2 weeks ago, if I'm still holding on to that and I don't process it here, again, I feel as though some of that stuff I may very well be taken with me when I part. And I don't want to do that. I've seen people throughout my lifetime that left this world with such heaviness. In these latter years, being able to help people to release now while they still have many years left ahead of them, helping some of those at the end of life to release right here and now before they pass. To me, that's a really big thing. It's a very sacred thing. It's beautiful, and it is humbling. And it's a reminder when I'm helping others of myself, keeping myself on track of releasing things. So harboring resentments obviously isn't helpful. So how do we go about forgiving ourselves for a mistake? Now, let me just throw the caveat here that I am not a mental health provider. This video is one, I am a reverend. I am a licensed spiritual minister. So I'm coming to you, or just because I don't even know who you are, but I'm putting the video out with the spirit in mind, with your energy, or whomever is receptive to this, their energy in mind. So that being said, I do not claim to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose any disease, illness, or ailment. You may find that when you really start opening up, when you are paying attention, you become more consciously aware of what you're holding on to, what you would like to let go of. Feel free, reach out to a mental health provider. And if you get to one that they don't feel comfortable, you seek out another one until you find one that you feel comfortable working with, that you can really open up to. You can also seek out a spiritualist like myself, or go see your priest or your rabbi, whatever it may be, to help get that guidance for you. You're going to find if you start the healing journey that some things are able to be released pretty easily. Other things are going to take more time. It's a process. So, sometimes we may find that we're holding on to something that somebody said to us a few weeks ago, but when we really look at it, it's something that maybe we were triggered because it was really something that happened 20, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Usually there's a root cause, and we can, if somebody said this that upset me, how many other people in my life have said something? Can I look back and see all these different times that I may be holding on to that are very similar? So if we can just trace that back to its root to find out where that started from. It may be that somebody didn't feel seen when they were growing up. And so anytime they feel as though they aren't being seen, it hurts them. Or they weren't heard growing up. And so anytime that somebody does something where the person doesn't feel heard, it kind of triggers them because it's a hurt from my youth, or I didn't feel loved, I didn't feel safe, whatever it may be. It may be that as we encounter so many different people, and they're not even, the overwhelming majority of people don't mean to trigger somebody. They're just being who they are from their life journey. And they don't know that something is going to upset us. But when we look, oftentimes we can see a pattern of the things that stick with us. What is that underlying issue? Oh, it's whenever I feel as though I'm not being seen or heard, or I don't feel loved or safe. So then we can get back to that original cause. But when we can kind of see it like wearing a heavy backpack or feeling the weight on the shoulders of the things in this lifetime that I am carrying with me. Do I want to carry this with me? Do I want to carry all this stuff? So you may have heard of other analogies of opening up your backpack. You see all these different rocks, different sizes, so different weights. Sometimes it may be all that we have the energy for right now is a pebble. This little thing that's still sticking with us, that's this pebble. Well, if you pull out enough pebbles, eventually you're going to feel that you really have lightened your load. And then there are going to be times where you're picking at a much larger rock. Like, I'm ready for this one now. So I'm going to pull this forward and, oh yeah. So maybe those little pebbles are little ones along the way. But then now you're getting to something that happened 15 years ago, that all these little pebbles were subsequent of that. Now we can get to this larger rock. And at some point, getting to the even larger ones from that really may have made an impact in your youth. When we can bring ourselves to the point of conscious awareness, setting the intention, you know what, I'm ready to heal. And we don't even have to know what it is that we want to heal. Or in fact, we may even know, like, I would really like to heal this. But then we go to see somebody, again, whether it's somebody like myself or mental health professional, you get in and then it's a whole other issue that comes up. But this issue got you to seek. So whether it's seeing somebody or finding information on the internet or seeking out information through books. This issue got you to seek, but maybe you're just not quite ready for this one. So instead, you look at this issue over here. And then now by healing this, it may be the thing that is the catalyst for healing over here. Or it helps to get your footing better after going through this one and maybe a few pebbles, so that when you get to this larger one, you're more ready to see it, to work through it, to experience it, so you can release it, so we can let it go. And when we're letting go, sometimes I just think of let go and let God. There are times where I will just, whatever this thing is I'll pull up, and if I'm not sure how to take care of it, how to make amends for this, then I will just give it up to God and ask for guidance of, how can I forgive myself for this? How can I forgive somebody else for that? And I'm sure most of you watching this have already heard that forgiveness, it's about us. We may be waiting forever for somebody else to apologize to us. So we're holding on. We could be holding on to that grudge, just waiting for that person to come around to finally say they're sorry. That's poison for us. And I forget how the saying is now off the top of my head, but anyway, it's the poison that we are drinking, not them. Because if they said or did something to us and they go on about their lives, it's not affecting them. It's affecting us. So we get to choose what we're going to do with that. When are we ready to just forgive the person regardless and let it go? When are we ready to forgive ourselves? If I'm looking at something that I made a mistake, maybe I said something derogatory to somebody and I wish that I could take it back. And maybe I did. Maybe I apologized to that person, but it still sticks with me. So sometimes if I just have a really hard time letting go, I'll separate myself and imagine a friend coming in with the same situation. And if I however I would lovingly help a friend, I'll do the same thing for myself. I try and bring that over that, okay, I wouldn't expect somebody else to still be holding on to that for, 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it may be. At some point, it's a time for release. So I try and show myself that loving kindness of being able to let go. So one, just having that separation, giving it up to God, asking for the guidance to come through. How can I heal this? How can I make this situation better? It may even be that a person that we would like to apologize to, there's somebody we really can't talk to, or they've passed. But again, it's something that we said or did that we want to make amends for. So we can connect with them spiritually. So you can think about it as going into prayer and ask for their forgiveness. And they may not forgive you. Even on a spiritual level, soul to soul kind of thing. We can't control how other people are going to react or respond, but we can ask for forgiveness, and then we can forgive ourselves for that. Sometimes we may, maybe we're one of those that, and this is, I have noticed this about myself over the years, that if I don't let go of it, then I'm less likely to make the mistake because it's still right here front and center. And then I have to have this internal dialogue that, okay, but I've been holding on to this for how many years? And I've already been using this as a guideline. And I can look from the time that I said or did this thing to today, and I can see how things have gotten better. Maybe I have repeated that behavior, but then I caught myself sooner and made amends quicker. You know what I mean? And it's just fewer and farther in between in my lifetime. So I can let that situation go because I know that I'm not going to forget about that I've learned from this experience. Sometimes too, what I'll do, maybe, and let's say I was 25, or maybe I said something to a friend that I wish I wouldn't have said. So I will approach, I will just go into a light meditation. I will take myself back to my 25-year-old self, and I'll sit with her. Literally, I'll see my 25-year-old self sitting next to me across from me. And I'll talk with her, explain to her how much we've learned in these 25 years. Being 50 now and talking with my 25-year-old self. Listen, we've learned all of this in the meantime. So, you know, instead of you still sitting here feeling really bad about this, I'm releasing you from this. As I look at my 25-year-old self and let her know, I forgive you. So there are a multitude of ways that we can go about healing, growing, evolving. We just have to be open to it. And watching videos like this, so maybe this video is like, whatever, but it gets you to maybe go to YouTube or to look at different books. If one little nugget came out of this video for you that gets you seeking, then it's all worth it. At least in my book. Because again, in the long run, if we can leave this world with our soul in a healthy state, how beautiful is that? Even if we are at the very end of life and we have that moment of, oh my God, I've been holding on to so much stuff for all this time. As long as there's breath, life in my body on earth, then in that moment I can choose wholeheartedly, purely, you know what? I forgive everybody that I feel has hurt me. I ask for forgiveness from them, and I forgive myself. I forgive all while I walk this earth in this lifetime. So even in those moments prior to our passing, as long as we were able to consciously think of these things, and again, have that breath of life, we can still make an impact once we pass. My opinion here. So again, if it resonates, wonderful. If not, then, you know, it's just that crazy lady. So, all right, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, the website and the email address will be somewhere here on the screen. Otherwise, until next time, thank you, be well, and namaste.